So we're able to market those properties with the carriers that are offering to cover the, roof ages up to 15 years. So that's a big jump. Um, we've had my office has secured a couple of contracts with some carriers that are now writing in our area of town. And quotes we're coming up with, and we've gotten a lot of responses back because people are way more aware of their insurance policies now. Because we try to grab the customer's attention when we get their renewal policy
Hmm.
so that we can send a better number, if you will, to their lender to pay the out of the escrow account.
Right.
Well, sometimes they just don't respond until they get their house note bill jumps by $500, and then they'll call in the office and we'll say, well, we have an option for you. Even though your escrow is depleted, we can change companies and have your escrow account credited back with a different premium amount. So it will go back down, but you have to bear with us. We try diligently to avoid that happening beforehand, but some folks just really aren't receptive to what we're talking about, or understand what we're talking about, or feel like it's something that I need to jump on right away. There's more of a delay with that. And what ends up happening is your escrow has a shortage because they were sent a renewal policy that was a lot higher than the prior term. And you your escrow is now really depleted. So we please, if your agent is calling you, there is a reason they're calling you, and it's to try to avoid you having to go through this situation. But some folks, will call after the fact once they get the house note escrow uh, shortage letter, and then we'll start talking.
Well, or what's happening is I could tell you, please answer when they're calling, because if not, you're calling me wanting to know why I'm requiring you to come in with $600, right?
I mean,
Because
post sale,
right, right,
you did the loan.
the loan's
They
done.
they want to know why are you, Dwayne, charging them?
You told me it was a fixed rate. Why is my payment going up?
Yeah,
Right. So explain why that happens, right? And that's kind of what you're saying, right? Because the insurance is sometimes it's taxes,
yeah,
but let's talk about from an insurance when that year comes up, when that renewal period comes up,
right.
things may have changed. Maybe you didn't answer the phone when your insurance company was telling you, hey, give me a call. We've got to shop this, because when you don't have the money in your escrow, what then happens, right? The company is just going to charge you that difference till they collect it. So they're going to raise your
House note.
house note. House note. That's when it becomes an all out world coming to an end. Here we go.
Oh my God, my house note went up $700.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
So I say to them, let's look at the policy you have.
Hmm.
We have remarketed it. We can't find anything less expensive at the moment. So let's look at your policy and see what we can do to make changes to your policy to bring that premium down. And typically, there's two items we go to first.
Okay.
Okay. Number one is your deductibles. If you self insure more, you're going to pay a lower premium. Okay. So we'll look at your deductibles and say, hey, look, you're at 2% of your coverage on your home as your hurricane deductible.
Right.
Would you be willing to go to 3% or 5% in order to save $700 in annual premium off your policy? Let's look at your contents, your personal property inside your house. If you're a single guy living in a 350,000 square foot home,
Three hundred thousand out home.
a th-
3,500 square foot house. You said 350,000 square foot home. About to say
well,
you're a
no,
baller.
I meant
Right.
$350,000 valued home,
Correct. Correct.
and you don't have any children versus a family of 5 living in the same home. Well, the amount of stuff you have is a lot more than the single guy. So we will kind of tailor that coverage amount to the people that are living in the house.
Mm-hmm.
So that's another way to save on that. Um, we also revisit the coverage amount on your home. Sometimes these insurance companies have a built in inflation percentage. So when the policy renews the next year, the coverage amount on your home increases. And that will impact your rate, it impacts your deductible. So we're looking at that to see if we can, evaluate what the current replacement value is of your home and have a conversation with the insurance company to see if we can bring that number back down.
And I think, uh, Colette, that's what a lot of home buyers, unfortunately, um, just are not understanding is because, look, for those who have been homeowners before, they've refinanced, even those who've got the 2.5% rate, this is happening to them. And is that change? Because you never heard of this before. Is it simply just because it's happened, but it's so plentiful now? Is it simply because of the companies going out, the changes in premiums and all that? Is that why it seems to be? I mean, I'm fielding a couple calls a week, is how much it, I mean, so I can only imagine what you're fielding. So is that the reason? Is just because of the insurance, especially here in Louisiana, is just so complicated right
Well,
now, just in sort of, I don't want to say disarray, but sort of just
I would say it is very fluid is the best word I can use for the status of how we are handling new business, how we're handling our renewal business. Literally a rule that you have today with one company could change in 10 days. So they are very fluid in trying to adjust their underwriting guidelines, their rating, all of the things that they're doing on their end to just make it through this crazy time because I want to go back to why are we paying so much?
yeah.
And the reason one of the reasons, there's multiple reasons why we're in the predicament we're in, so
Right.
there's no one quick fix to fix all this. And the large majority of why we're paying such high rates is because we have regional insurers that rely upon purchasing catastrophic coverage from 3 or 4 unregulated insurance companies. So these unregulated catastrophe insurers can dictate how much premium they charge our regional carriers. So when they come to the table with a 300% increase in rates that they have to pay, meaning the regional insurers, that's why the rates jump so high because in order for them to be able to stay as an insurance company and write a policy, they have to pay this premium, and they're passing that along to us not because they want to, they have to.
It's a matter of staying in business. And I know when all this was going down, I was like, these are idiot CEOs. They don't know how to run a company. And like you said, It's the insurer of the insurance companies
Correct.
who controls all. It's kind of like our federal government. There's a select few who are controlling all this, and based on cost and everything like that, they are basically trickling it down, saying, "Hey, listen, if you go into that state to operate, here's the minimum. Here's what we're going to charge you.
Correct.
So unless you want to go in and break even, open your doors every day and say, Team B,
Yeah.
hey, team, let's go break even today."
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So if that's the case, then this
So-
is what we're dealing with,
and
right?
you have to look at it too from this is really macro, but if you our insurance here in Louisiana is regulated by the commissioner's office. So anytime that a company wants to increase rates, they have to go before the commission and get approval. Well, what they're being charged by their insurance company is not regulated.
Right.
There is no cap. There is no, oh, we're just going to go up 20% like the flood premiums, until you reach that maximum. They don't work like that.
Okay. So we'll continue this conversation on the other side of the break. She's Colette, the Queen, beating cough. Call her office right now, 985-951-2070. She won't answer, but somebody will. If you've got insurance questions, you want to know anything, give us a shout, 504-260-0995. You're listening to Mortgage Gumbo with Dwayne Stein right here on iHeartRadio.
She's got a figure that's shown up in attention. She's poetry in motion, a beautiful sight to see. I get so excited viewing her anatomy.
Four minutes. Yeah, we got audio on Facebook now.
Okay, good. Yeah, this is all right, great. Okay.
Go fill up my coffee cup.
Yeah, go ahead. You got a sec. Yep. All right, good. Got sound now. I don't understand what, who, why.
It's a gremlin.
Yeah, it's amazing. I just do not get it, bro.
You know, it's the strangest thing. Like every now and again, when I break out my board and we're on location at like a convention or something, and I try to record
Yeah.
for a podcast, the other mics, it's as if the board only wants to really do one mic.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I don't
Plug in another
understand
mic,
if
and-
like
and-
that's the problem with some of these. Because now she's perfect. Like I did nothing, and all of a sudden it's run. Like I went and bought new mics, new cords. It's just makes zero sense. But
I know.
and the problem is, then I'm like, all right, I'm gonna fix that until there's a guest in 3 weeks. Then I'm like saying, but then yesterday when I'm sitting here with me and one of my coworkers, we're testing everything out. Dude, it's Yahtzee. So
Yeah.
yep.
2 minutes.
Yep.
Oh, what's the title for today's show?
I have Mortgage Gumbo. Put THA member, the Queen, Colette, the Queen of Insurance, joins the show.
Gotcha.
Thank you. She's bad. She's bad. Girl, I know she's bad. Hey, we'll knock out when we'll do Ray Watch next week because I got a lot of stuff for Colette.
Okay. If we'd have done Rate Watch, it'd have been brought to you by Tito's Handmade Vodka.
That's right.
So smooth.
So.
All right, 30.
Yep. Ladies, I know this is what you sing before you're heading out and you hear Mortgage Gumbo is going to be at the club.
Oh, yeah.
That's what they sing in Colette. You know that. We used to party and dance on the same speakers, so don't try to hide. I know your history. All right, you're listening to Mortgage Gumbo with Dwayne Stein right here on iHeartRadio. In studio is Total Home Authority member Colette Biedenkopf, 985-951-2070. Absolute amazing when it comes to insurance, just getting your questions answered. And, there's a lot going on in this world. And I got a lot of questions that I get, and I want to kind of pose them to you. So let's kind of take this segment to do a little bit of a
question and answer.
Yeah, like a rapid
speed quiz.
Yeah, a little speed thing. So all right, so here we go. What is the difference between replacement costs and actual cash value?
Okay, actual cash value. If you think of when you buy a vehicle, a car, and people say the minute you drive it off the lot, it depreciates.
Mhm.
Okay. So basically, actual cash value is a depreciable item. So if you bought a sofa in 1995 and you have a claim that has in your policy's actual cash value, they're going to take a depreciation schedule on that piece of furniture, and that's what they'll pay you for. A replacement cost policy would replace that sofa at today's cost.
Simple enough. And that goes with roofs, all that stuff.
Everything,
right? Because I know a lot of times people will call me and go, I got to refinance because I got to pay for a new roof because maybe they had actual cash back, they didn't have enough. So that leads me to this. Let me ask you this. I want you to explain. I understand, but I want you to explain deductibles and how a deductible works, right? Roof came through my tree came through my house. I've got a $5,000. I've got a $1,000 deductible, whatever it is. When does that get paid? How does it get paid? Kind of explain. Do I have to come up with that up front? Kind of break down how deductibles work. Yes, please.
So, and after you have a claim, an adjuster will prepare a damage estimate, and they will calculate what the costs are to make the repairs, and then they apply whatever your deductible amount is to that bottom line. If you have a $10,000 damage claim and your deductible's 2,500, then you're going to get the difference of those numbers in a payment.
Okay.
So it's not like you're coming out of your pocket.
Thank you.
With the money.
Right.
You are subtracted. It is subtracted from the damage amount of the house.
Now, that also doesn't mean you want to go get a $15,000 deductible so your insurance could be cheaper either, right?
Well, I mean, you have to look at what are you comfortable with? What are you comfortable with?
Because if you have a $5,000 deductible, it's almost like your health insurance, depending on which one you go with.
Correct.
Right?
Just
you may
like
have
selecting deductibles on your health insurance.
I've got right on your health. Like, hey, all right, you took, This bronze
Mhm.
means you got to pay the first $2,500 of all your visits and all. Then after that, 80% of whatever.
Right. Well, that's a little bit more complicated than what we're talking about because it's basically when you have a claim, depending on the type of claim it is, because you have in our area, you everyone has two different deductibles. Okay. One of
So
them,
explain that.
one deductible that you'll typically see as a flat number. When I say flat, meaning it's not a percentage. It's 5,000, 2,000, 1,000. That's called an all other peril deductible. And those apply to any peril covered on your policy. And a peril is something that is sudden and unforeseen. Okay. Then your second deductible is typically going to be a wind, hail, or named storm type of deductible, which they typically issue in percentages 1%, 2%, 3%, 5%. That's the numbers. No 4%. I don't know why they just skip
Right.
right over that
Right.
number. I can't answer that. But those are things that when you're talking to your agent and trying to work with them to lower your premium, okay? Those are things that we go through and let the customer know this is how much you're basically self-insuring for, which is in fact your deductible. So another little twist on these percentage deductibles that people need to be aware of is some companies will issue um, a deductible for a wind hail and a different deductible for named storm. So you might have a 1% wind hail and a 5% named storm. So what that means is if a tropical storm that has a name or a hurricane damages your home, then it's typically the higher deductible percentage.
Right.
If you have an event like we had on January 8th in our area where there was reports of hail damage, that would be your wind hail deductible, which in some cases could be your all other peril deductible, okay? Because that company said, "Look, we will only charge you this higher deductible if it's a hurricane or tropical storm. Any other damage to your home reverts back to sometimes that flat deductible 2,500, 5,000. So the folks that had these hailstorm damage claims and aren't really seeing that real high hurricane
The name
deductible right
storm.
now. Correct.
Okay. So let me ask you this. Is that what is considered a split policy?
No.
Okay. Right. So
A split
so let's
policy.
let's explain because I know right now when we're getting quotes from y'all on home, right now, split policy I don't want to say a lot, but more than what it used to be.
Oh, yes,
So
indeed.
explain what that is so people
Get it.
understand.
Okay. So prior to this insurance crash, I'm going to call it, a lot of folks had one policy that covered all perils, including wind and hail and hurricane, with one company. Okay, that's how we wrote it.
Right.
After this failure occurred, we had a lot of companies that were willing to write the all other peril type of policy, but they didn't want to insure you for wind, hail, and hurricane. So a lot of folks ended up purchasing that coverage through LA Citizens because we had really zero carriers to offer to our clients to cover them. And so a lot of folks have what we call a split policy where your all other peril coverage is with one company and your wind and hail coverage and hurricane is with LA Citizens. That's typically the split you're going to see.
Right.
Because we really didn't even have a company saying, "Hey, we want to insure all the wind and hail." Okay.
Yeah. And
So
and
we had
that's
to go to Citizens.
in Gumbo Nation. That's why she's part of the Total Home Authority. That's why she's the queen. Are you even aware that that's an option? some insurance companies may not be offering that. Maybe I don't want to say they don't know, they have the option, but it's more work for y'all to go quote. It's
Oh,
easier to
yeah.
go, hey, 3,200 and out the door versus, hey, 2,400
Yeah.
and split the policy. But it's, Colette and her team, and when you talk about working endlessly, this is what they do. And look, I get it. The days of I need a quote and it's over in 30 seconds,
Mm-hmm.
it's different now,
Oh, yeah.
right? Because we're looking into what's best for the client. And
It
especially,
literally is more specialty crafting
yeah,
to that particular person.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, folks. Still one segment left to go. If you got any questions, get them in. On the other side of the break, I'm going to ask Colette, and you need to know, like, hey, when should you be updating your policy? What type of life events? What kind of things should you be looking at when you need to update your policy? And then flood insurance. Flood zones, etc. So one segment left. You're listening to Mortgage Gumbo with Dwayne Stein, the queen of insurance, Colette Biedenkopf, in studio. You can reach her at 985-951-2070. We'll be right back.
So I guess your gremlins have attacked our transmitter site. So apparently Tom's out in Chalmette right now. RNO is off the air. So is NOE, and so is Throwback.
Wow. So are we just literally streaming right now?
Yeah. We're still streaming.
Okay.
So we're sending our signal to the transmitter, but the transmitter went kaput. I don't even know why. I don't know about kaput.
Yeah.
Tom's already on site in Chalmette, so apparently it must have happened. Because we just got a call and Gregory just texted that we were off there. I'm like, huh?
Interesting.
Well,
Man,
don't we
I give
replay later today?
Yeah, it's all recorded.
Yeah.
On my end from here.
Yeah, because I just gave some good information.
Well, we
Listen,
recorded it at least on our end.
The queen just gave us some information. Dang it!
You don't want to make the
Right.
queen mad, dude. She'll
No, I
send
do
you
not.
to the
Off with his head.
Yes.
guillotine.
All right, we got a minute and a half.
All right.
But yeah, no, I mean that's I don't know. This woman who called, she's like, y'all seem to go off the air a lot. I'm like, ma'am, I got no control over that.
Right.
That is above my pay grade.
Thanks for the feedback.
Well, it's funny too because she's like, I've been listening to this station since it was the Rock of New Orleans, WR.
Mhm.
Is she from the parish?
Yeah. of course.
Maybe.
We
Who knows,
all
Hawk?
are. We
It
like
has to
we
be.
like roaches. We everywhere.
I know,
Exactly.
right. I'm from the east, so
Me
I'm a neighbor of Chalmette.
That's right.
Hey, me too.
Easton
Yeah.
Kenna can't say a word.
I'm
Throwing
from
the West
East.
Bank.
Yeah, I went to Kenilworth, and then
Oh, wow.
well, I played ball at Kenilworth, but I lived right by Goretti.
I know right where that is. I grew up in Venetian Isles.
Oh, sweet.
Yep.
I know where that's at too.
Yep.
Man, the east is such a graveyard these days.
It is.
I was showing.
We're
my
lucky
kid
we
one
all
time.
made it out alive.
I know, right? I was showing my kid. I'm like, hey, this. He's like, this place looks awful. I'm like,
You
I remember the red lights when it was somebody's birthday.
Oh, yeah.
Orange Julius.
Oh,
That was my favorite.
oh, here we go.
All right, give me a 2 minute or two. Colette's like me. She likes to chat. Welcome back. You're listening to Mortgage Gumbo with Dwayne Stein. Hey, just got a text. Update on baseball. Titans are 1-1. Coach Jacob Seward got his first victory last night as a high school baseball coach. Titans won 8-5. So good stuff there. G Unit got the close. So today, when I'm out of here, heading over to Rummel. There you go. I'm not over to Rummel, to Mike Miley. Got a doubleheader today. Turling's Catholic. And then Brother Martin tonight. So excited about that. Come on, man. Chill out. Well, that's our new head coach is old school. So we shall see. So good stuff. All right, let's get back to business. All right, Colette, let's talk about when should someone let you know? Because regardless, I tell people all the time, I'm good, really good at what I do. You're really good at what you do, but our crystal ball doesn't tell us everything. So when should people be getting with you to let you know maybe they need a policy change?
Hmm. Well, adding a pool would be one.
Okay. So
Any
upgrades, I
Oh
mean,
yeah, like solar panels, generators, uh, outdoor kitchens, like these significant investments that you're making back into your home.
yeah.
You definitely want to talk that over with your insurance agent just so they can properly craft the policy to cover these improvements you're making. Obviously, when you get a new roof, number one, if you even update your plumbing, or electrical panel or your HVAC system or your water heater. These are things that we're asked about when we are putting the policy together because they want to know the age of these things because we have water heater failures, right? They flood the whole house when
Hmm.
they fail. So you might not even know that you have a limited water damage rider on your policy that limits any kind of damage like that to $10,000, not your full amount of your policy. But these are in place because you either have older pipes that have not been updated, you have an old water heater, you have an old HVAC system. Who's ever heard of the drip pan overflowing? And
Oh,
these are just common occurrences.
or
That
that little
that
pipe outside your brick
yes,
backs up,
backs up and
gets mold or not
correct.
milled, and it doesn't, and it backs
It
up, right?
clogs it up
Clogs.
and then it overflows the drip pan and then you have water coming down, the walls and all that stuff. So these systems, when you update those things, let your insurance agent know because it could remove some of these limitations on your policy because you've updated these things in your house.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, I had a friend of mine who went out of town for the weekend, came home, all his walls, the whole house was flooded. A squirrel got in his attic and chewed through those new, the new water pipes and stuff,
Yeah.
that
PVC.
PEX piping or whatever it
Okay.
is now,
Uh-huh.
and just enough to make a couple holes that over a weekend.
Whole.
Crazy, right?
Yes.
Out of all right. So let's talk about flood insurance. I like to tell and you said this one time on a show and it stuck with me and I use it every time now because people are like, hey, I'm not in a flood zone. Everybody's in a flood zone. It's a matter of does your lender, me, require you to carry flood insurance,
Correct.
right?
Yes.
So
There is no such thing as I'm not in a flood zone.
if you live in Montana in the mountains, there's a flood zone. You just probably I'm assuming it's X and you're not required, right? But maybe I don't know, maybe ice coming down or glaciers. Why is, and I mean, this is something that, why is the flood insurance capped at 250,000? Is there a reason for that? Or is it just because they figure if rising water, it's not going to be that much damage to maybe a downstairs only? Any idea? I mean, how they
Uh,
came up with that number?
no, but I mean, I don't know, but it's always been that number.
Always, yeah.
And obviously, it costs more to fix things now. So 250,000 doesn't go
Yeah,
a long way. And fun fact about Flood 2.0
right.
is we have to let the carrier know what your replacement value is on your house, which we have never had to do before. And your premium is really based on what the value is to replace your house. So you could have two two identical policies have $250,000 in coverage for the house,
Right.
but your premium is 800 because your house is valued at 300,000 and this guy is paying $1,000 in premium because his house is valued at 500,000. You see what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
so they have factored that into the premiums now based on what the replacement value is of your house, which that is new, okay, since Flood 2.0 came out. I will say this statistically, I don't have the actual numbers, but I've heard this umpteen million times. The people in X's and C's and the non-lender required, places, they flood
Yes.
more often than the people that are in the A's and
Yeah.
the AEs.
That's right.
Um, and that's the worst thing. But I could get on a soapbox about
Sure.
this, but to me, if they would escrow the flood insurance, okay, in your when you go to purchase the house, we would have a lot more people participating in the flood program to spread the risk out.
Yeah.
But like when they come to you and you're not escrowed and they want $1,000 right then and there, there's no payment plan, there's no finance agreement. You just have to either come up with the dough or you're SOL.
Yeah. Well, and the other thing I would say, if you are in one of those flood zones that where your insurance is cheaper and you're like, I never flood because of 2.0, do not cancel because it's assumable.
Yeah.
Right. And we do that and take advantage of that a lot of times where the new policy might be $1,600, but they're assuming a policy that's $900.
Correct, because that policy that's assumable is on a graduated scale to increase every year incrementally
Right.
versus, hey, I'm going to buy a property that doesn't have flood
We're punching them
insurance
out.
on it,
Yeah.
and it's a big number to come up with all at one time.
Yeah. It's a big deal. There's no doubt about it. So what are y'all seeing? Let's get to it.
2 minutes.
Is insurance, I mean, I know you don't have your crystal ball, but you are a queen. I think I like that we're starting to hear about them relaxing the
Roof year.
roof
Roof year.
situation.
Yes.
I think that's a win. And is that pretty much what right now we need our listeners and folks in our area that listen to Mortgage Gumbo and part of Gumbo to understand, like, that's going to be your wins right now. Some company coming in here because of, as you started the show with saying, here's the minimums to operate in Louisiana. Some company coming in, like we could sit there all day and go, hey, competition's going to make it better. If you got to operate at a certain number, it's not, they could have 100 people.
Yeah.
But if they're bring in 100 different companies. But if they all got to operate at a certain minimum number,
it's not attractive.
It's not
That's
attractive.
It's
so so I think the big thing is there. Don't expect like all these people. I got the closing. I say, oh, some new companies are coming in. It's going to make insurance great. Things are going to get a lot cheaper. No, let's hang on. Make sure you're getting with your insurance company. See if you've got Team B and their team. They're calling you, letting you know about these changes. Right? That's what separates them. Just like me, I tell people all the time, I'm keeping an eye on rates for you. Call me if you got a question, but I'm going to let you know when it's time to make a move. So, Colette, tell everybody how they can get in touch with you.
Okay, so the best way, we like to talk to our customers, believe it or not.
Imagine
so
that.
we fully staff my office to answer the phone. You will get a live person during business hours. 985-951-2070.
Or go to mortgagegumbo.com and it'll take you directly to it. Queen, thank you. I know your time is always precious, always amazing, and look forward. We'll do this again soon. Till next week, Gumbo Nation, keep stirring.